Okay, here we have another matchup with blue-white Tron. This time we're playing against green-white Hatebears. Won the roll here. Let's see if we can get our opening hand up. There it is. So we've got Remand, Timely Reinforcements, Day of Judgment, Thirst for Knowledge, the Signet, and a couple of lands. So not very close to getting Tron together, but I think this is a reasonably decent keep. Particularly against a creature deck, we're in quite a good position with Timely and Day of Judgment. And as it turns out, he is a creature deck. Didn't know at the time, but good thing to have happened. So he plays out a Voice, which is kind of annoying, seems though we like to play things on his turn, particularly blue spells. But we have got enough for Wrath now, so it's not really a massive concern. So he's going to tap for 2, then going to play out a Bop, and then nothing. Maybe I should have just waited to try and see if he would commit more to the board, but I kind of don't like missing my land drop. I know he's got Tack Edge, which I suppose kind of makes that less of an issue, but either way, don't really like missing land drop. So I'm going to Wrath, he's going to path one of his tokens to get an extra land, and then he's going to drop an Elspeth, which is not particularly what I want to see. He's going to hit me for 2. I'm going to use Timely here, makes his attacks a lot more difficult, and I could have just gone for the gifts, I suppose. I don't know what the better way of doing that would have been. Maybe we're better off just gifting there. I mean, we do plan to gifts regardless, but I think maybe I was just concerned about taking so much damage. But either way, he can just jump his elemental token, which is what he ends up doing, to make me take 5. So maybe I should have just went with the gifts. We don't have main deck Alishanon. Alishanon would have been good here, and maybe would have chosen it. Although I feel like Iona is probably still going to be better, seeing as though I can name white and cause him quite a lot of trouble. I think he's going to have some difficulty playing around not being able to play white spells. So first there, I end up discarding another Thirst and an Urza's Mine. I don't really want to discard gifts. I'm going to keep my Snapcaster, and kind of like having a Colonnade. It's an alternative way of attacking him, and it's generally quite good card to have around. I'm going to attack here, attack the Elspeth, hit down for 2. I suppose I could have just stayed back to prevent a bit of damage, but I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. And we do need to kill the Elspeth with Iona or something, because we don't really want it to stick around. So I suppose keeping it low is a good plan. Definitely don't want him to ultimate or anything like that. So we get our Iona now. Going to put it out, and then white. So can't path my Iona. And also he's probably going to have a lot of cards in hand that he just can't play. Things like Loxodon Smiter, Voice of Resurgence, etc. I wouldn't name green. I don't, but I think the risk of being pathed is just too high. So he's got a sword, which is pretty good. He's going to give him some reach in a sense, but I have path, which is obviously pretty good. It's path the token. He's not got another land to equip the soldier with, so we're good on that front. Got a Hierarch though. I'm going to tap for 7 here, put him down to 9. He's going to equip. I'm going to Snapcaster Path, although it's not particularly good. It seems as though he can just re-equip the Hierarch. I don't know if there was a better way to play that. There probably was, but yeah, I don't know. there was something better I should have done there. But obviously it becomes immune to path once the sword's on it, so you have to path in response. So he's going to attack for 3. I'm going to lose 1 extra life from the red part of the sword. He's going to gain 5 life from the white part of the sword, thanks to having 5 cards in hand. But we can attack for 8 back. We can actually attack with the colonnade as well. But he has Ghost Quarter, so that seemed like a waste of mana. Maybe I should have done it anyway, just to force him on the Ghost Quarter, as we've got the expedition map, so we could search up another colonnade or just get Tron online, and both would be awkward, and maybe that would make him forced into some sort of decision anyway. But it's not really going to matter. He's on 5, he can attack. I'm just going to chump with my Snapcaster, and that's enough to get us the win. So yeah, that went pretty well. I think we were quite fortunate to have a good anti-aggro hand against him. Day of Judgment did pretty well, but maybe we could have held it a little bit longer. Timely was also really nice, so they're all cards that we were kind of looking for in the next game. And always good to play against a deck that can't do much against the actual gifts combo, so we can get in Iona fairly easily, or potentially on from the sideboard. That seems pretty good against his small guys. So yeah, on to game 2. So this is our opener: Seachrome, Hallowed Fountain, Signet, and then 3 Wrath effects, 2 Day of Judgments, and a Supreme Verdict. One of these should be a Wrath of God. I just don't. So the reason it should be Wrath of God is because then you can actually fetch 3 Wraths up with your gifts, which obviously means that they have to give you at least 1 Wrath effect, which is always good. So it's better to have Wraths with different names, and Wrath of God is generally just better than Day of Judgment, but I don't have any Wraths currently. So he leads off the Hierarch. Just going to put our Hallowed Fountain into play tapped. He's got Bop into Voice of Resurgence, so he's committed quite a lot to board already, which I'm happy about. I've got a lot of Wraths, but we do need to hit our lands. He's got Voice, and then Scavenging Ooze. He's down to 1 card, so he's kind of playing into our hands. We'd really like to draw a land here, but we'd end up not drawing a land, which is not great. But we do draw first, which allows us to find a land. I throw away Day of Judgment. I don't really want to throw it away, but I kind of don't really want to throw away the other cards. Maybe we should have got rid of Mana Leak, but I kind of like having counters, and don't want to throw away gifts, obviously. So see how this goes. Into playing a Worship, which is pretty much what ends the game, I have to say. This game is probably going to go quite long, if I remember rightly, but I can't actually do anything about Worship, and it's quite difficult for me to wipe his board. I know I have 2 Wraths, but it's going to get complicated anyway, as far as I recall. And I mean, even once we Wrath, he's going to have 2 creatures from the Voice. So yeah, it's going to be tough, and well, I've maybe given quite a lot away, but Worship pretty much the main problem here. We also have Stony Silence, which turns off our Signet and can blow up one of our lands, which makes life a little bit more awkward. Again, I should click gifts there. I went for the Timely instead, just because that gives him less good attacks, and also keeps us further away from death, which seems reasonably good. We end up drawing Unburial Rites, which is kind of the worst draw possible. We can't hard cast Unburial Rites, so maybe we should have just gifts there instead, and then we wouldn't have ended up drawing Unburial Rites. Obviously we weren't to know that that would happen. So yeah, there's not a lot we can do about that. First for Knowledge is like our way to discard Unburial Rites, but unfortunately we don't have that in hand, and yeah, we're kind of in a spot. I suppose if I was actually, I don't know, I'm not very good at using Gifts Ungiven outside of just getting the combo. There's lots of clever things you can do with it, but I'm not particularly confident with it. So there's probably occasions where I could have used it well, but I didn't. Obviously I'm still learning with the deck. Obviously the best thing to get would have probably been like a Wrath, but we drew all our Wraths. And the thing about this deck, unlike the like Bug Gifts deck, is there isn't a lot of things that you want to be in the graveyard, so you don't get a lot of value for them sticking stuff in your graveyard. I suppose I could have just tried to get some value out of gifts by just drawing 2 good cards in the situation, like picking some combination of cards that were decent. But equally, you kind of risk them sticking your good cards in the graveyard. See, something like Sphinx's Revelation would be good maybe a little bit later on, but you don't want it to go into the graveyard and then not be possible for your top deck. So here we're going to block, and we're probably going to Wrath here. That's the reason why I block like that. He uses Scavenging Ooze, which is fine. He plays a Hierarch. He's annoying, even though like I'm not really putting any pressure on him. It does mean that I can actually kill him, even if I wanted to, thanks to Worship. And all these like small creatures that I can't really deal with now. And we've used up all our Wraths, basically. So it's kind of an issue. We do have Snapcaster Wrath, which is about the best we can do. We end up drawing Iona, which is also pretty horrible. I suppose we could just draw cards and just end up discarding. Maybe that would have been a better thing to do. Deliberately discard Iona and Unburial Rites by just not playing anything. I should have missed that line, because obviously I've ended up playing out the Expedition map because I didn't want to discard, which, yeah, that's stupid actually. I didn't think about that at all while I was playing. Yeah, a much better line would have probably been to discard Unburial Rites there, and then also discard Iona, and then at least we have Iona on board. Makes life a lot more difficult for him, and maybe we can find a way to kill this. I suppose we do have Path to Exile, etc. He's going to try and play an Arbiter. I remand it just to draw an extra card, and don't really get very far. I'm going to pass it. He's going to blow up my Colonnade. Kind of want to search out the land, so I'm going to pay, but that does mean he gets an extra land. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. So he goes for a Rest in Peace, which is awful for us. Yeah, I end up using the Snapcaster in the past, seems though it's not going to get much more valuable now. And that empties the graveyard and makes the whole gift combo not really a thing that's going to happen. I feel like there was ways I could have played this a lot better. Particularly on missing out on the discarding the Unburial Rites Iona. Don't know if it would have been enough time to avoid the Rest in Peace, but can only hope. So he plays out Arbiter. He has to continue attacking, but it's kind of not going to work out for me because I'm on 10 and he's on 16, so bad news. Yeah. I didn't play this very well, I have to say. But it was closer than it perhaps should have been. So it takes me down to 4. Got a lot of cards that don't really do anything. I could gift again, and probably should have done just to try and find something or other, but I really don't know what I'm looking for in my deck at this stage. And he's able to kill me. Iona in. We would have done better, but I don't know. This is pretty rough. He obviously had a lot of hate for our deck in his sideboard that he brought in, and yeah, Worship's particularly bad, as I don't really have any enchantment destruction in my sideboard, at least not how I've currently got it set up, so that's kind of difficult to deal with my current configuration. So we've kind of got to hope for the best. Maybe try and keep our counter magic up in the next game. This is a decent Remand, Mana Leak, Colonnade, Plains, Gifts, Day of Judgment, and then Burial Rites. Burial Rites not so great. kind of a bit of a mulligan, but I like the rest of the hand. I like that we've got a Wrath coming up, and so I'm going to run with this. We've also got Counter Magic, which is nice, in case he tries to play an early Worship or something like that. Just for Stony Silence, I don't have anything in my hand that makes Stony Silence relevant, so I didn't really need to remand it or anything, but I kind of wanted to draw a card anyway, so that's the reason I used the remand there. So he's going to play the Stony Silence again, and he has Rest in Peace. So yeah, I was okay with Stony Silence, but I'm not okay with Rest in Peace. Definitely want to get this gift to work. Probably going to go for the combo. Actually, I didn't. End up playing a Seachrome Coast. Why would I have done that? I don't know if that was just a mistake. Probably a mistake. I'm not sure why I would have done that. I don't know if I'm waiting for him to tap out, maybe, or something. So he ends up using double Tech Edge on our lands, which is bad for us. And drops a Scavenging Ooze, which is also not great. Going to pass that. I don't remember what I'm playing around here. Something like that. I really feel like I should have played Gifts a bit earlier. Another Stony Silence. Oh, the reason is because the combo's in my hand. I can't use the Unbearer Rights combo when Unbearer Rights is in my hand, so that's the reason I haven't played Gifts. I probably should have still played Gifts anyway to just draw 2 cards that were good in the situation, but I suppose we're not really being put under any pressure at the moment with him just having Bop and playing enchantments. So I guess I was just kind of happy to let things go. He's got a Voice, which I'm going to Snapcaster, and Mana Leak. Don't really like seeing that. And it also means we can start getting a little bit more aggressive. Put some pressure on. I feel like he might have over-sideboarded. He seems to be like stuck on lands and enchantments and things that don't really do anything. He's got double Stony Silence that he played out, and just a lot of things that don't really do anything. Which is definitely good for us. I'm probably going to start getting aggressive with Colonnade soon. I'll try and gift here. He has the Avid Mind Sensor. I could have pulled the trigger on gifts a long time ago, and probably should have done, just to get some good cards, but when we got the second gift I definitely decided that was a good idea. Again, a little bit inexperience of this deck, and kind of I'm going to still get 4 cards to choose off the top 4. Fortunately they all had different names, so we are going to get to pick up 2 cards here. Probably going to be a land and a remand. I doubt he's going to give us first. If he does, it's amazing because we can discard this Unbearer Rights, but I'm pretty sure he gives us land, which is not the best. Said to Day of Judgment to get rid of his guys. He's not on many cards, he doesn't seem to have much going on, so that's definitely good for us. These signets are so not particularly happy to see those, but we can get in with our Colonnade. Fortunately has a path and we've run out of basic lands, but it's not so bad. I'm going to remand the file just to draw a card. I don't think remand's going to be doing a whole lot of work from this point on in the game, but we can aggro him with our Colonnades, which is good. Again, he's not got a whole lot going on. He can attack us for 3 to Okina, Temple of the Grandfather, which can pump it for 1. Again, we're just going to carry on attacking. I think it's best just to keep getting aggressive with the Colonnade. If I draw another land, we can gifts and attack with Colonnade, which seems pretty good. And that's what we're going to try and go for. Unfortunately, it has an Arbiter, which means that if we want to gifts, we're going to have to commit slightly more. Also, he can attack for 5, so I actually stop using the colonnade at this stage. I think I'm going to gift though. Do I gift? Oh no, I don't. But I end up drawing a Supreme Verdict, which wipes the board nicely and puts us back in control. He has a Tron, which can act for 5 thanks to the Okina, and that's not so good for us. We probably should have attacked with the colonnade. I mean, it's going to be a race. He kind of, if we're going to race, then we probably want to get in 4 here and hope to find something that can chump Tron or something useful. But yeah, I think definitely not activating the colonnade was bad there. Yeah, I should have attacked and then, I don't know, found something. So I gift again. He has another Aven Mind Sensor. Fortunately, I've only got 3 cards with different names. We ended up with having 2 firsts in the top 4 cards of our library, so that didn't work out so great for us. And we end up just getting a tech edge. Doesn't mean we can tech edge this, but it doesn't change a whole lot. Fortunately, the top of our deck is very kind and gives us a Sphinx's Revelation, which is the card we really want. And yeah, we're going to be able to draw a lot of cards. So he attacks for 5, and I'm going to 4, but then I'm going to be able to Sphinx's Revelation for 8, which is brilliant. And we're probably going to have to resize this hand. Please, our Revelation doesn't draw us the most amazing hand. We do find a tower though, so now we've got Tron online, so we've got like infinite mana. These cards all don't do anything, and so we're not in the best position we could have been from a Sphinx's Rev, but we've got so much more life timely now, so that takes us all the way up to 8. I ended up playing it out of the expedition map. I have no idea why. I think I was just using up extra mana and discarding less cards. I'm probably not going to ever be able to use it thanks to Stony Silence, but there you go. Discard these signets and stuff, and the expedition map. I probably should have saved one of the artifacts, seeing as though I'm probably going to first end of turn, but I don't think it's massively relevant. So it's going to chump to save me some life. First end of turn, and oh, button. I'm going to discard the Emberer finally and get rid of it. It's now usable. Could have discarded Iona as well, seems though that's what I found, but I can actually hard cast Iona pretty easily with our Tron online. So I'd rather do that, and then we can potentially good if he managed to kill it somehow, but it seems kind of unlikely when we're going to name white. So attack here seems though he doesn't actually have any good blocks with his 1 toughness guys, and then Iona's going to come down. He's going to play out Hierarch, and yeah, he can't really do a lot about this. We've stuck him off white. We can attack for 7. I suppose he could have drawn Worship, which would have been pretty good, but we can probably remand or mana leak that long enough to get the win. So yeah, kind of got a bit lucky in drawing Sphinx's Revelation. Do need a bit more experience in using gifts. It's quite a difficult card to play with, especially when you're not just getting the combo, which is the easiest thing you can possibly do with it. But yeah, it was a fun game. It turned into kind of quite the epic, and we did manage to win, which is always awesome. And yeah, it was a great match.